In this video, you'll see how to install a bathroom exhaust fan, specifically the Panasonic Whisper Cozy, which has a heater inside of it, and that's especially important and helpful if your bathroom gets chilly in the winter. Unfortunately, mold and mildew made the air quality bad in this bathroom, and healthy indoor air quality is important to everyone, especially those with kids and pets. The solution was to remove the problem and properly ventilate this space. The first step was to remove the old exhaust fan, which obviously wasn't doing its job, so I just unscrewed it from the attic. I'm going to be using the Panasonic Whisper Cozy. It's got very low sound to it, so only 0.3 to 0.7 sones, and you can pick between 80 and 110 CFM, so that makes it great for medium or large rooms. And then, as I mentioned, it has a heater in it, which is great for cold bathrooms. On that note, because of the heater, you need to have a 20 amp dedicated breaker for this, as well as 12-3 wire. So you need to run a 12-3 wire, which I'll get into, to this fan and the switch. A few things about this fan. It has a Flex Z fast bracket, which I'll show you how to install. The heater is right next to the fan unit, and you can adjust the CFM just by the flip of a switch. So we can go from 80 to 110 CFM real quick. One big mistake people make is with the electrical. So there's a ground, neutral, and 2 hot wires. The mistake is not using a Romex cable connector. So I take the knockout out and I put the cable connector in, and then you run the wire through that. Like with most exhaust fans, you're going to have to cut out the existing drywall, but no problem. You just want to outline the footprint of the Whisper Cozy onto the ceiling, and then you can dry fit it and make sure that you have the right fit and cut out the drywall with a handsaw or an oscillating multi-tool to speed things up. Just make sure you wear a face mask for this. The Whisper Cozy comes with a Flex Z fast bracket, and what's nice about this is it screws into the joist, so the ceiling joist. You have 4 screws. You want to screw those in on each side, and what happens is you can expand it to pretty much any joist configuration that you have. Ductwork is going to be important for this installation. I use a worm drive clamp, and then I use Insulated Ductwork. What happens is I put the clamp over the ductwork, and then I clamp that to the fan itself. I always make sure those screws on the worm drive are facing in a direction that I can reach them later on. Then I use foil tape to seal the ductwork to the fan. That way you don't have any air leaks and everything will be insulated to cut down on condensation. Now for the wiring. Remember, I'm using a 12-3 wire that's dedicated on a 20 amp circuit. I strip off about 5/8 of an inch of the insulation, and that way I don't overexpose the copper. Now here's the deal. With stranded wire, like that comes in the fan, I always twist the stranded wire and make it 1/8 of an inch beyond the solid copper. Then I use my wire nut and twist those 2 wires together so that they're nice and tight. I do that for the ground, and then I do it for the neutral. With the Whisper Cozy, because it has a heat element in it, you're going to have 2 hot wires. One's going to be labeled heat, and so for that, I run that onto the red wire, twist that together, and then the fan power, I just connect that to the other black wire. That'll make the wiring easier in the electrical box. This is what it looks like inside the Whisper Cozy. This is going to be our cover plate, and you want to make sure you screw that in place, and this is what it looks like when it's done. Here's where things can get a little bit tricky for homeowners doing the installation. There's a channel on the adapter that I pushed up into the ceiling. That channel should fit over top of your drywall. Then you can screw it in place using the provided screws. This is what it should look like. You can see the metal channel is going over top of the drywall, and this is going to be really important for the fan unit installation. Now the installation is nice and simple. I can slide the fan unit up into the adapter and screw the fan unit into the Flex Z fast bracket as well as the joist. I use 3-inch construction screws to do that, and this fan unit isn't going anywhere. There are 2 other things. You got to make sure your screws added for the ground continuity, and then you plug the adapter into the fan unit. You can also adjust the CFM still from below, which is fantastic. That's why I like using Panasonic, because they really think of everything. And then I seal the fan unit to the ceiling using silicone. Here's another important tip for the heater, and this is really cool. So the heater is right there, and there's a grill blade holder with these grills. You can adjust the grill blade direction, so you can have it pointing, for example, up in this case, or down, which means you can have it pointing toward the shower or away from the shower. So you can realign these to the direction that you want, and then you can add the grill blade holder back in place with the provided screws. So in this case, I'm having it face away from the shower to keep the bathroom nice and heated. And then before I put the grill on, there's a pick-a-flow. This is a small bathroom, so I made it be 80 CFMs. I can just keep it there. If that's not enough, I can obviously change that for the client. And then the springs go up in these slots for the grill. So you always want to align the springs with these slots, and that makes the grill installation super easy. Just a side note too, for the best performance of the fan and heater combo on the Whisper Cozy, it's best that this be no more than 8 feet from the floor to the ceiling. One of the most important steps is ventilating the bathroom exhaust fan through the roof. So I connect the ductwork through that roof vent with a worm drive, and then I use my foil tape over top of that. I also foil tape the insulated portion of the ductwork. That's going to help me reduce any kind of condensation, have good airflow, and as you can see here, the Whisper Cozy looks pretty darn sharp. Another thing I like to do is turn the fan on and test it to make sure I do have that proper airflow. You can see that it's pulling the instructions up to the grill. If you have a chilly bathroom that gets cold in the winter, definitely check out the Panasonic Whisper Cozy. It's got that heater that's fantastic. And if you have any questions about how to install it, just let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to help you out.